Okay. Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And today we have again Shane Oglo from PR Reach. Thank you, Shane, for joining us today. And we again would like to hear a little about you and then we move to topic.
Sure. You can hear me okay? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So my name's Shane. I've been doing Amazon stuff for many. I guess I got involved back in the original rush on 2013, around there. The original private label sellers rush, which was a great time. So I've been doing a lot of stuff out of the e-com Amazon space since then, and now I'm co-owner of PR Reach, and we're basically a digital. You could call us a digital marketing, public relations type agency. We do Amazon specific things. We do things for other types of businesses as well. But Amazon has always been a big focus for us, for both my partner and I, because we've had lots of brands in the past, managed brands, that type of thing. So at PR Reach, we do press releases, we do content, we do public relations, earned media, so getting brands published in magazines or getting them on television, whatever, building big brands. And of course, we do all our Amazon ranking strategies, as well as editorial recommendations and offsite articles, which I think we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you for the intro. So let's talk about the editorial recommendations. Our audience would like to know what is actually it is and how to get into it and what are the benefits of it.
Yeah, editorial recommendations are, it's the funny thing is it was a big mystery for a long time. When it first came out, it was like, I struggled to figure out how to get into it and how to do it. And it's not a simple thing. It's part of what's called the on-site associates program. And it's basically an affiliate program. So Amazon invites certain magazines or bloggers or influencers to become contributors, content contributors to their platform. And basically, if I'm a contributor, for me, it's an affiliate play. So if I write about your product and it gets listed on Amazon, then every sale that goes that's attributed to that recommendation, I get a little bit of commission for. So it's an affiliate play. And basically, any seller or even any shopper on Amazon should know what it is, because it's at the top of page one. When you type in most keywords, you'll see a little section on the top, and it's called Amazon Editorial Recommendations. In the UK, I think they call it recommended articles. It's also in Germany. And it can feature 1, 2, 3, and then actually up to 5 products under a single article. So you'll see an article on the left, and then you'll see 3 products, 1 to 3 products on the right-hand side. And basically, it's written by a third party. So the publishing party, let's say it's XYZ magazine, or a lot of people know, like Wirecutter, for example. Wirecutter is a very popular review style publication nowadays. You'll see an article there which will talk about those products. So it might be, best reviewed or best value for the price, or they'll have different types of tags, but it's written by the publisher. And basically, you can or a shopping browser can see this, and they'll say, okay, so let's say they typed in silicone spatula, and they see an article written about silicone spatulas and some products there. They can read the article and listen, read about the review, which one the publisher liked the best and why, and then they can click to buy the product right from there. They can also come out of the article and look at the product placement and click to buy there as well. Very cool. So what it's doing is it's giving you a lot of, first of all, it's top of page one. Okay, so you're getting exposure for your product. So if we get you published, you're getting your product at the top of page one. It's not PPC. It's not organic listing. Now, you might be there organically. You might be there with your PPC as well. It's just one more spot. But the really cool thing is it's like having a paid review at the top of Google search results, right? Because it's written by an independent third party, has nothing to do with you. And so you get a lot of authority because of that. So you get published by Wirecutter, hey, that's a lot of authority. Hey, you must be a real brand. Okay, cool. There's also some SEO benefits, a little bit off of Amazon, within Amazon. You get the you get the editorial, the article there, which is wonderful. You'll generally get a higher conversion rate, and it will increase your organic and your PPC sales. Okay, it's also going to make your PPC more efficient. Now, remember when I said if I type in silicone spatula and I see the article and the products, if I go and read the article and think, oh, that's wonderful, and I come back out and you're organically ranked, or you have a PPC listing, and I click on your organic or PPC, you are not cookied by Amazon Editorial Recommendations. The only way you get cookied or that sale is attributed to Editorial Recommendations is if you click on the actual product link within the Editorial Recommendations box. And that's very, very important. And there's two things to that. The first is it's a 24-hour cookie. It's only 24 hours, unlike PPC, which is a few days. So if I click on it Monday and I decide to buy the product on Wednesday, it's not attributed to that sale. So you don't have to pay that commission, which is nice. And that's why that's one of the reasons why we see the organic and the PPC overall sales start to increase. Sometimes it's been very dramatic. We've had examples where a product, especially if it's the first one in its category, so if there's no editorial recommendation yet for that keyword, and you're the only one, you can see a really big spike in sales. We've seen products go from 500 a day to 12,000 a day in sales because of this. Now, that's the most extreme example I have. And again, they were first to market. And in fact, what happened was that company, I think they published in I can't remember the month, but it was less than 2 months and they were out of inventory and they lost their article. We're able to get it back up again. But seeing even 5, 10, 15% increase, that's a big deal for sellers. And the nice thing about editorial recommendations is you're not battling with other sellers like you are for position. You're not getting into a PPC war. You're not getting black hat attacks on you. It's there. It's stuck there. It's not going away. It's actually very hard to get your product removed from there once you're there. Mm-hmm. If you run out of inventory, yeah, you're going to get taken down. Or if your BSR tanks, sure, you might get taken down. But for the most part, if you maintain a good solid listing and good ranking, that article will keep rendering. I mean, it could stay there for years, technically. So you pay once. So if you think about it as an advertising, it's super low ACOS. Every month that article stays there, your ACOS just gets lower and lower and lower. It's never going to fluctuate. It's never going to cost you more. It's you pay for it once, and if it's there for 8 months, that's it. So it's a super great value. It's wonderful exposure at the top of Amazon. Plus, you're also you've got those benefits of sales and traffic and conversion and authority. But you're also building your brand too, right? Because your brand is getting there in front of people's faces as well. And we've got specific strategies where let's say you want to rank for or an article written for silicone spatula, but you also want to get keywords locked up for kitchen spatula or pancake flipper or whatever other important terms you have. We can get multiple articles published for each keyword, so you can really dominate your primary keywords with Amazon Editorial Recommendations. And one last thing I'll mention about that. So for instance, right now in the UK, it's grossly underutilized. Hardly anybody's doing it. It's a completely open book. So, just for example, let's say it's silicone spatula. And I don't know if this is the case, but if you get published for silicone spatula in the UK, because there's no other articles or very few other articles, they might render you or show you for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 keywords. Who knows? Until more articles start getting published, it'll narrow down. So giving you a lot of exposure, and you don't have many other products competing with you. So you might get an editorial recommendation, and you might be the only product they're recommending because there's nobody else there. So it's a huge opportunity right now to get in. It's kind of one of those things where it's the first mouse gets the cheese. In the US, there's certain keywords you can't get into right now. They're full. Usually for one keyword, Amazon will usually go to about a maximum of 5 articles, and they'll rotate through those articles and the corresponding products. And that's it. Once it's full, it's full. You have to wait for someone to get knocked out, either by running out of inventory, or maybe they change their product significantly, doesn't match the article anymore. Maybe their BSR gets pounded down. So it's one of those things that I wouldn't wait. If you're thinking of doing it, don't wait. Do it now. Get in, get yourself there, because you're hard to get pulled down. You do have to qualify, though. So not every ASIN is going to work. So you can't have a brand new product, brand new brand, and get placed. You got to remember, it's an affiliate play for the publisher and for Amazon, right? They want sales. So there are just a few general guidelines to get published. Number one is you should have at least 100 reviews. I've seen them published with less than 100, but that's a good general guideline. Your Seller Central account should be doing at least 20 to 30,000 a month. Okay. Again, I've seen differences, but that's a good guideline. 4-star review or higher in general. The most important thing is be in the top 20% in your category. Okay. If you're buried on page 10 for all your keywords and your ranking is 250,000, it's probably not going to happen. And the last thing, which isn't a guideline, but it's just a general tip. When you submit, let's say you come to us and you're like, hey, I want, I've got, 500 reviews and, my product's doing pretty good. I want to get an editorial recommendation. We allow you to submit up to 3 keywords. Okay. You're not usually going to get all the 3 of them. We usually get the first 1 or 2. So let's say it's silicone spatula, best pancake flipper, and best kitchen spatula, for example. Those are the 3 keywords you want. It's important that those 3 keywords are on page 1. They don't have to be at the top of page 1, but they're on page 1. Can we get them published if they're on page 2? Yes, we can. But we're seeing more and more that the article is not performing as well. And by performing as well, I mean the share of voice. So let's say they give you silicone spatula as a term. We give you dashboard access, and you're able to see how often your keyword is being shown, or actually the keywords are being shown. Okay. So if you're on page 1, maybe your share of voice is 40%. Okay, great. 40% of the time they're showing your article and product. Okay. But if you're on page 3 and we happen to get you published, you may only be rendering 3% or 5% of the time. In that case, it's not really all that worth it. It's still nice to have, yeah, and we can improve it, but it's a little bit of an uphill battle. So you're better off to push. Let's say you're on page 2, do a big campaign for a month, push those keywords onto page 1, crank up your PPC on them for those terms, then submit. Okay, that's a little tip that'll make it a little bit easier. So I mean that's the basics. That's the basics of editorial recommendations. Do you have any questions, Ishan?
Okay, great. That is wonderful information. So a few very basic criteria questions. You have, yeah. Can you hear me?
I can.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So great. So very few basic questions like criteria you have tell us that okay, you have to be 4-star and above, and you have to have 100 reviews. So does it comes with the more sort of ranking juice as well to the listing, the keyword ranking?
Yes, it will. And the reason why is because more exposure on page one. So if you're, I mean, obviously, if your editorial article is converting well and getting lots of sales for Amazon, it will affect your organic ranking too. But in the case where you've got editorial recommendations and your organic ranking is near it, above it, or below it, or something, a lot of times, again, it's just like advertising, right? You're all over the place. You know, you can have 4 placements above the fold, two PPC opportunities, on organic and editorial recommendations. So it's just one more place. But sometimes people will read the article and go, "Oh, that's cool," and they'll come out. They might click your organic listing or PPC listing, and that's going to help your overall BSR and keyword ranking.
Okay, great. And what is the cost of it actually getting it to editorial recommendation?
Yeah, so there's a one-time fee, and you don't pay unless you get published. So there's no risk. It's $1,500 to get the article written and placed. So what we do is we find, so if you're selling a spatula, we will find an appropriate publisher. We're not going to go to an automotive company or something. We're going to find a home or kitchen type of a blog or magazine or whoever to write the article and then publish it. Now, once you're published, the following month, and the only other fees you'll get are each month, it's $125 a month to maintain the article, and 10% GMV. And GMV is the gross merchandise value. So 10% of the sales that are attributed to the editorial recommendation. So let's say you sell 1,000 units in a month and 50 of them are attributed to the editorial recommendation. You're paying only 10% of those 50 sales, not all the sales.
Okay. Okay. So another benefit I am seeing for it, like you can actually publish on your website as seen on best reviews. So this is another benefit we can expect from it.
Yeah, you could do that. You could absolutely do that. And you can also, when you get an editorial recommendation, you get a unique link to that editorial recommendation. And I use that in my marketing. A lot of people don't know about that. That also helps. Now, editorial recommendations has its own algorithm. It's not very sophisticated. It's not like the A9 algorithm. And it's fairly easy to spike. So another little tip is in the first 2 weeks when you get published, send traffic to the editorial recommendations to click on it. And it will tell Amazon to give you more share of voice. Now, when you talk about the using that authority on your Shopify page, for example, that's a good point. And there's one other thing we can do with editorial recommendations, and we can do off-site articles as well. Very similar, but these articles live off of Amazon. Okay, they have nothing to do with Amazon. These are very, very powerful, and they operate a little bit differently. Now, it's a different publishing group. Now, there's some of the same publishers who are in on-site or in this other publishing group. Yep, this publishing group is growing all the time. But basically, let's say like Wirecutter is another example. We get you published by Wirecutter. It's only about you. They write an article. We can have the links go back to your Amazon page. We can have they can go to your Shopify page, Walmart.com, whatever you want. But most people do it to Amazon. Even if they don't get a lot of sales from it, they're getting a really nice rankings boost because Amazon is rewarding all that outside sales and traffic from these high authority domains like Wirecutter. Mm-hmm. It's a very powerful tool. And we have a widget now that we will take. So it'll take, it doesn't say as seen on, but it's basically takes a little snippet from Wirecutter, which you can have on the front of your Shopify page to give you more authority. Now that doesn't link anywhere. It doesn't link to Wirecutter. It's not taking traffic away from your page. The other really, really cool thing about this, and actually I didn't mention about editorial recommendations. With editorial recommendations, you can't get articles written about supplements, CBD, medical things. Some health and beauty products are very difficult because if they have Any medicinal aspect, no go. So anything controversial, you can't have for editorial recommendations. Some clothing you can't too, because I think fashions change too fast. But with offsite articles, if you sell health, beauty, supplements, whatever, no problem. We can do that. There's not as many publishers who will carry that because it's very niche specific. Again, if you sell a camping or outdoor product, we're going to find you a publisher that does camping and outdoor stuff. We're not going to put you in a beauty magazine, right? It wouldn't be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
The other really cool thing is you can do promotions. So launches, discount coupon codes. So if you wanted to say, oh, hey, save 20% for, the month of April or something, use, April 20 code. Wonderful. And actually it increases your chances of getting picked up, because if you think about this, the publisher, they want to offer great deals to their group, right? So they're going to push this out like, hey, look at the great deal we got you. Some of these publishers have millions of people on their list. So they're going to promote it for you, because for them, it's a pure affiliate play. They're going to send emails. They'll do push notifications on mobile, newsletters, sometimes Google ads. It depends on the product and the price and the time of year. I mean, if it's snow shovels in the middle of July, don't expect to get picked up very much, and don't expect them to push it very hard. But, especially gift items before Mother's Day, Father's Day, obviously the holidays, or seasonal items in season, they'll push those a lot. But of course, you can do these promotions, which you can't do with editorial recommendations. So those are very, very interesting, and they can be very powerful. Yes, they can generate a lot of sales on their own, but most sellers I know don't care too much about how many sales they get through that publisher. I mean, obviously they want as many as they can. They're more interested in the ranking boost they get on Amazon from this traffic coming in. I mean, even if only 20 people bought, but those coming from this high authority site like Wirecutter, your rankings go up quite nicely. Now, the pricing for that and the way it works is a little bit differently. So every week we have a spreadsheet, and we submit that to the publishing group with all the ASINs, details on the product, and if there's any special promotions and offers. So every week those can get picked up. We have a lower placement rate though. With Amazon editorial recommendations, about 80% of the time we'll get you published. With offsite, 30 to 40%. So you might submit 1 or 2 ASINs. I might not get you published for 1, 2, 3 months. Who knows? You could submit 10 ASINs. Maybe I get 2, 3, 4 published. Maybe I get 6. Maybe I get none. So a lot of people, what they do is, let's say they've got 4 or 5 ASINs. They'll just keep them in rotation on this sheet, hoping every month they might get 1 or 2 picked up. Sometimes they'll go a month without getting any picked up. So it's a little bit hit and miss. But so you can see how it operates a little bit differently, but it has a different function. And again, if you get published in an off-site article, just like we do with public relations and earned media, if I get you published in a magazine or on a television show or with a big blogger, you should use that, squeeze every drop of juice out of it. So let's say you get published in a magazine. Wonderful. Use that in your social media. Put it in your newsletter, your email marketing. Use it for advertising. Squeeze every drop of authority out of it. And you'll get a lot of mileage out of even one placement that way.
Okay, that is awesome. Okay, so few questions from the audience.
What if you're on page 1 but not doing 30K a month? Yeah. So that 30K a month, it actually can really depend. And nobody knows what their actual formula is. If you only have one product and you're only doing 18K a month or something, it might be fine. If you've got 100 products and you're not doing that, they'll probably pass you by. So it also depends on the number of products you have, but nobody knows the actual formula. What I would do, especially if you've been on page 1 for, let's say it's been 3 months, and wonderful, great. I don't see why they wouldn't take you. Again, it comes down, it's Amazon's decision and theirs alone, but I would submit it. Again, there's no cost to you unless you get published. So it's not like you're throwing $1,500 down the toilet and hoping for the best. If you don't get published, you don't pay. So I would try.
Okay.
How long will the campaign run? Well, that's anyone's guess. Generally, if you maintain a good product, stay in inventory, keep your rankings fairly well, it can stay there for years. Why not, right? Unless something happens. There's no real time frame. Like it's not like they'll let it run for 3 months and then drop it. It's not like that. It'll stay there as long as it keeps making them money. It'll stay there indefinitely. Yeah. Yeah, the ROI of time. So that's another good question because we actually give you dashboard access. We've just set it up. So Amazon doesn't give us a ton of information. All we can do is give what they give us. But you'll see the date and time of the sale. You'll see whether it was made on desktop or mobile, and you'll see what keywords it came from. You will see your share of voice reports. You'll see how often you're showing for certain terms. Now, remember when I mentioned that they have their own algorithm, right? So if Zishan logs in and he searches for silicone spatula, he's going to see different, or he might see different editorial recommendations than I would see searching for the same term, depending on where you're located, like the A9, but also based on your browsing and your purchase history. So it's important to see that share of voice. So that's the data they give us. Again, you're going to see all your sales, and you can just extrapolate that against the increase you might see in organic and PPC sales. And that's what we do. We look at all sales combined. So we see when the published date happened, and then we will typically see a spike, a little bump in the editorial recommendation sales. Wonderful. And then we'll see the spike in organic and PPC. But again, you just pay once, right? So if your article renders for 8 months, every single month, the cost to you and your ACOS, I suppose, would go down every single month, because every single month you're just paying $125 a month and 10% GMV. So it's basically a 10%, well, I guess slightly more than 10% ACOS, which is pretty damn good. The other thing I'll mention is that monthly fee that goes to the publishing group, and it's also for us because we maintain your article. Now, here's something very important. If your article starts to perform very poorly, or let's say right out of the gate, it's like, it's not doing all that well. There could be different reasons why this can happen. It could be your pricing, could be your image, could be a bunch of stuff, but we'll take a look at it. There's things we can do. We can do what we call the hard refresh. We can get Amazon to refresh the whole thing and see if the algorithm picks it up again, okay? We can get edits made. Maybe for some reason, the article wasn't all that well written. Completely possible. That has happened, not very often. These are professional writers, so we expect them to do a pretty good job. Usually when we get a rewrite done or an edit done, if your product has changed, so let's say you submit your ASIN and it's published, wonderful, and you change something with your packaging, or you add a little bonus in. Someone reads the article, looks at it, and then they go to your product. It's like, oh, it's not quite the same. That's probably going to lower your conversion rate. So we might get them to do an edit to update with your updates. Worst case scenario, we'll get them to rewrite the article. If your price seems okay, everything seems, why isn't this doing well? We'll just get them to rewrite the article. So that's like a monthly maintenance fee to keep this thing, as well ranked as we can. Okay. The important thing to remember is that editorial recommendations is a slow algorithm, and oh man, dealing with these publishing groups, it's like herding cats. So nothing happens lightning fast. We can't send in a request and 3 days later it's changed. Well, 3 weeks later, they'll probably make the change. Every publisher operates on their own schedule and does their own thing. So just so you're aware, if we have to do actions, they can take a little bit of time. But of course, you're going to have access to the metrics too through your dashboard. So you're going to see if your share of voice is going down or going up or whatever. So yeah, cost is basically the same in UK, just converted over to pounds. like the 10% would be on the pound sterling. Mention seasonality. What's the best time to get in? Should wait for Q3. No, it doesn't last for 3 months only. It goes forever. Where it could go forever. I wouldn't wait, because let's say you wait to Q3 or Q4. Oh, there's no more room for articles. You're screwed. Nothing you can do. You've missed the opportunity. It's gone forever. So, for example, a good term is, I don't know if you guys know what Instapot is. It's like a pot. You plug it in, you throw food in there, you turn on for 6 hours, it cooks stuff. No way you're getting in for that term. It's been locked up for 6 months, maybe more. It's just not going to happen. So you missed the boat. So that's why I'm saying the UK is a wide open opportunity. If you got products in the UK, get them in now. Still lots of opportunity in the US, lots and lots of opportunity. But there's certain keywords that are locked up. And obviously, I'm on podcasts talking about it and people are coming in. So again, if you're on the fence, don't wait. You might not get in. You're better off just to get that article placed and just concentrate on maintaining that article so it doesn't get pulled down, or maintaining your listings, which you're going to do anyways, right? We want to sell lots every day. So that's the best way I can answer that question.
Okay. So how we contact you?
Yeah, well, you can use, you can contact me directly through the website. That's probably the best. Here, I can. Do you want me to put in the address in the chat? Will everyone see that?
Yeah.
Sean? Okay.
Yeah. Everyone can see that.
Yeah, just go to our page, and then you'll see both Amazon editorial recommendations, and you'll see the off-site articles too, and you can choose which one you want to go to.
Okay.
What's the right time? I'd say as soon as your product is eligible. There's no point in, again, if you're buried on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for all your terms, I'd wait until I'd get some of my, or at least one of my terms onto page 1 before doing it. Because that way, when your article's first published, it won't have really poor performance. It'll probably do better right out of the gate, make you feel good, get your conversion rate up, get everything else happening nice. It sucks when you put an article out and Amazon's just not showing it. I got it published, but they're not showing it because you're buried on page 6 for all the keywords. So you need to, again, one of the general guidelines is you should be in the top 20% of your category. Because remember, it's an affiliate play for the publisher. The publisher wants to make sales from it. They're going to write a really nice article, talk about your product, and they want to be rewarded for it.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so
I saw different products and editorial recommendations means one article published an article like 10 best, so 10 products will be shown. So I've never seen that. Usually, like you're thinking like a listicle on Google. You type in best silicone spatula, the whole page will be filled with, hey, our 5 best or our 10 best. I do see those listicles on Amazon editorials, but they only pertain to the up to 5 spots they can have in editorial recommendations. Now, when you look at editorial recommendations, you'll see 3 products, up to 3 products, and then a little arrow. You can click on it and you'll see 2 more. For me, those 2 more are useless. I want to be in those 3. Okay, that's where we want to render. And that's where part of our monthly maintenance come in. So I've never seen an article talk about products that it didn't link to in editorial recommendations. And it wouldn't make sense because the publisher wants to make sales, right? And Amazon's not going to allow external links. So I don't think I've seen that. I hope that answers the question.
Okay. So, could you please mention the website? It's prreach.com actually. People want to contact you, prreach.com, guys. It is prreach.com. Okay.
Oh my gosh, here comes the discount request already. Oh, geez, Louise. You know what? if anybody wants to sign up through as a result of this podcast, I'll offer a discount. Like I'll give you $50 off the price or something. When you go to the site and you click on submit your ASIN, there's just like 6 things you have to fill out. It's not like a number of reviews, your ASIN, keywords you want to go for. There's also a little spot for maybe how did you hear about us? And I think there's another spot for if you have a discount code. If you put Zishan's podcast or something to let me know you came from here, I'll make sure that we take $50 off each ASIN. Oh, one more. That leads me to an important question too, or an important point. The $1,500 is per ASIN. So here's the cool thing. You got your silicone spatula and you want to get ranked for the term silicone spatula. Wonderful. We get you published. Great. Hey, let's get some other keywords ranked. Sure. We're not going to charge you $1,500 again. It's just per ASIN. So we might get 2, 3, 4 articles for you for all different keywords. We're not going to charge you the $1,500 again. It's only per ASIN. If you do a separate product, a separate ASIN, sure, there'll be another charge. So let's just say you've got 3 articles up for your silicone spatula for 3 different or 6 different keywords, however many keywords those are rendering for. Wonderful. One-time fee of $1,500, which you paid at the beginning. Each month, $125 total plus 10% GMV. 10% GMV on all 3 articles. Okay? So any sales attributed to your editorial recommendations for that ASIN is 10% GMV. So I think it's the gift that keeps on giving. I don't know why people. It doesn't make any sense to me. I tell them till I'm blue in the face, but hey, if you want to make money, that's fine. As soon as you get one article up and you see, great, apply for another one. Apply for another one. What does it hurt? It's not going to cost you any more, right? So you may as well lock up as many as you can. Maybe some will get pulled down because they're not as strong keywords. Okay, we'll try to get them back up. But again, it's not costing you $1,500 for every article. It's per ASIN.
So there would be no extra charge for another article, or there will be a minimal fee for extra article? No.
Yeah, there's probably not going to be any charge. We may have to introduce a small fee in the future, and I mean a very small one, but right now we're not charging for that second article if it's for the same ASIN.
Then how would you manage that? Like if a seller wants to get into editorial recommendations for every keyword they have, then how would you manage that?
Yeah, well, I mean, so let's say I type in a super long tail keyword, best silicone spatula for flipping pancakes and spanking the kids. It's probably not going to render an editorial recommendation, right? Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. If you've got these crazy long tails, they're probably not going to approve it because there's not enough volume there, and the publisher doesn't want to do that because they're not going to make money, right? So it's your primary terms. But if you've got 6, primary keywords that are, hey, these are all good keywords, they make us good money. You're looking at your PPC reports. Why not go for all 6 of them? I wouldn't do them at once. I would do one, another. That's the way I would do it.
Okay, great. Okay, guys, I think that's it. And okay, so we have to end here because I don't see any more questions. So thank you so much, Shane, for joining us today. And that is really, really an awesome information you provided us today. And in our Pakistani way, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. It means thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Ishan. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. आज का सेशन मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव रहा होगा क्योंकि ये काफी एक अच्छी चीज है. लाइक मैं तो अपने प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए ऑलरेडी एनरोल कर चुका हूँ, तो आप भी जो है वो देर ना करें बिकॉज ये एक ब्रांड बिल्डिंग के हवाले से भी काफी एक मतलब इफेक्टिव चीज है कि आप सिर्फ इन्हीं चीजों पे ना फोकस करें कि जो एक रेगुलर सेलर्स कर रहे हैं. लाइक थिंक लाइक अ बिग सेलर, 8-9 फिगर सेलर्स जो हैं वो क्या करते हैं एक्चुअली, वो खाली रैंकिंग या वो खाली प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट या वो खाली पीपीसी पे फोकस नहीं करते, वो और भी बहुत सारी चीजों पे फोकस करते हैं जो कि उनको लॉन्ग रन में फायदा देती है। तो होपफुली जो है वो आज जो है वो काफी मजा आया आया होगा आपको, क्योंकि मुझे तो बहुत मजा आया ये सारा कुछ सुन के, सेकंड टाइम थर्ड टाइम, क्योंकि मैं तो ये सारी चीज एक्सप्लोर करता रहता हूँ। तो आज का फिर सेशन इधर एंड करते हैं, और बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप सबका अगेन, और मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वीक एक और बड़े सेलर सेलर के साथ, जो कि अनाउंस हो जाएगा। तो थैंक यू, टेक केयर, अल्लाह हाफिज।